firstly, thank you. Firstly, thank you for very much for accepting my invitation and accepting to be on my show.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you very much.
So I've gone through your profile and I came to know that you're from US and you are into different professions in your life.
Yes, actually, I am originally from Uruguay,
So
uh,
presently you live in.
but I've been living in the United States most of my life.
Okay. So before talking about you, can you please introduce yourself to my audience?
Yes, my name is Alberto Saavedra, and I'm what they call in the computer industry in the United States a serial entrepreneur. I have been involved in almost 10 computer industry startups. My first startup was in 1981, a software startup here in California. So, I believe in the fact that using computers and technology can improve society and make us all live better.
So 81 means which means more than 30 plus years you are into IT industry.
Yes.
So I'm sure you went very deeper into the ocean called IT.
IT is what I've been in for all my life.
So right now you're working as?
Right now I'm involved in two startups, which are in what is called the garage phase. Startups start in the garage and then they get all the way to NASDAQ. Like I tell people, I've been involved in startups from the garage all the way to Wall Street. Unfortunately, not in the right order and not for the same company.
Awesome. So I'm an IT guy. I did masters in software engineering. I did bachelor's in computer science and engineering. And for me, you are like a godfather. You're like you're like a god for us. So you was into IT from long time, and you said you worked in different startups, and you're involved in right now. You're involved in two startups.
Yes.
So what do you think? How this IT industry is contributing to this planet?
Well, information technology. What happens to the planet is what society decides, and society decides we're 7.5 billion people in the planet making decisions every day. So there is something that I call the data hierarchy. It starts with data, information, which is metadata. Information is data about data. Knowledge, which is information about information, which is the next level. And above that is wisdom. Wisdom is knowledge about knowledge. And information technology essentially starts with data, and it provides information. And then the information can be interpreted, and then you have knowledge. Eventually you have wisdom if you participate in multiple aspects of knowledge. So information technology essentially makes all that data flow into society, so that society, as investors, as workers, as managers, as politicians, as consumers, can make the right decisions that improve society and the planet.
So tell me about user experience.
User experience, well, user experience really started back in the 70s when computers became interactive with people. Okay, everybody's into video games nowadays. Everybody, younger people play video games all the time, and computer games and so on. I was actually one of the first 10 Pong players. Pong was the first computer game interactive, where you can interact with a computer. And that's where my user experience started. But essentially, the idea is that the user experience is how people interact with computers that provide them information and knowledge and data and so on. And to the degree that that interaction is easy to understand and easy to move forward with, then computers work and they provide solutions.
So in this 30 plus years in your industry experience, I'm sure you might have seen you might have seen the hardware changing, the sizes of the physical devices and the performance of these devices. So what do you say about what this gradual change, the performance, the increase in performance, and the size of the computers, the size of all the devices, the information exchange devices?
You know, you heard about Moore's law. Essentially, the computer speed doubles every 18 months, every year and a half. Okay. For your information, there's people that are thinking that Moore's law will be obsolete soon because computers will double their power every year, not every 18 months. Having said that, that provides better flow of information, the ability to do more things in the same amount of time, and so on. And that seems to continue. Moore's law is decades old. Okay, so there may be some non-gradual changes. Everybody is talking about quantum computers now, and quantum computers may break Moore's law. But it will continue for sure under Moore's law or even faster.
So what do you say about AI, artificial intelligence?
Artificial intelligence essentially is when I told you about the pyramid of data, information, knowledge, and wisdom. Artificial intelligence is computers that look at data and information and extract conclusions and apply them into themselves to make decisions. So artificial intelligence is a way for computers to make decisions based on data and information. So artificial intelligence develops knowledge, okay? However, it doesn't develop wisdom, and that's where human beings are still in power, because artificial intelligence has to be guided by computers. The big controversy in Silicon Valley nowadays is when artificial intelligence will become conscious. And when artificial intelligence becomes conscious, things could change. What is consciousness? Well, you know, I go back to what Descartes said, I think, therefore I am. When a computer says, I think, therefore I am, that's when it becomes conscious. And once a computer using artificial intelligence becomes conscious, then we have a whole other dynamic that we do not have now. That's a computer becoming a person.
So what is the difference between real intelligence and artificial intelligence, human intelligence and artificial intelligence?
Well, you know, human intelligence it develops. You're born and you become intelligent, and you interact with the planet. You interact with society. Artificial intelligence does not do that. Artificial intelligence just looks at the information and the data and extracts conclusions, but it does not interact with the planet. It doesn't interact with society. That is done by the people that create these artificial intelligence systems. So, you know, our human intelligence develops by interaction with society and the planet and so on. Artificial intelligence only develops by interacting with data and information provided in computer systems and data storage systems, and so on.
So when comes to human being and IT, so how human is increasing his ability, capacity, capability in order to increase and put the IT industry in the top in the list on the world platform.
Well, again, there's data, there's information, there's knowledge, and there's wisdom. Artificial intelligence operates at the knowledge level. They look at the information and the data and they extract conclusions, and they act according to those conclusions they extract. But the framework for artificial intelligence is provided by human beings. That's why there is so much controversy in Silicon Valley right now with the algorithms that companies like Facebook and Google are using, because these algorithms of artificial intelligence that Facebook and Google use are biased based on the human beings that give them the priorities. So that's the difference. Artificial intelligence is not conscious of who they are yet. So until then, artificial intelligence is really a function of the human beings that create it.
So can you tell some experiences of yours which you cannot forget as a person who is into IT? Any particular incidents that happened, any work experience that made you think a lot?
Let me think about it for a second. Let me think about it for a second. Well, let's just say that one second. Can I call you back in 5 minutes, 10 minutes? Okay. I'll call you back in 5 minutes. Sorry about that. Things that I'm trying to think of events that happened. There's been many things. I'm trying to come up with one that is different. Well, it goes like this. The computer industry is, it all starts very small. Okay, my best experience perhaps was having met Grace Hopper. Grace Hopper was the first, if not the first, one of the first programmers. She worked on the ENIAC, which was the first computer. Before the ENIAC, computers were not called computers; they were called Turing machines. But the ENIAC was the electronic numerical integrator and computer, which was started back in the late 50s, I think. Anyway, she was the first programmer, and she came to the university where I was getting my master's in information management systems, and I was designated to escort her, and we exchanged a lot of ideas about computers, and we made friends. Grace Hopper was a very influential person in my life, because she showed me that computers could have a positive impact on society. Among other things, she invented COBOL, to give you an idea of the kind of things she did.
So you said you have connected with even Steve Jobs. How was that experience, and what you observed?
Well, that was before Apple. Steve Jobs knocked on my door. He found out that I was a computer guy, the top computer guy at my university, and he told me that I did not know him. He was a young guy with long hair and whatnot, but he had these blue boxes, which had 3 buttons. And back in those days, in the United States, AT&T had the monopoly on telephone communications. And what this blue boxes allow you to do was to make free phone calls. So you didn't have to put in coins. If you had to put in quarters, you push one button. If you had to put dimes, you push the other button. If you had to put nickels, you push the other button. So it was a way of hacking the AT&T system. And so I said, sure. He sold them to me for like $100, and I sold them for $400, and so I made money off of that. For your information, I've hacked some computers. The first computer that I hacked, it was an IBM System 34 or something like that, back in the 70s, because I was installing some computer system in Tokyo, and I had to hack the system to make it work and whatnot. But my most famous hack, and this is, I haven't told this story publicly before, but my most famous hack is I was the CEO of a .com back in 1999, and we had developed an app that allowed you to post, it was a social media app called debates.com. It allowed you to post your opinion on something, allow other people to vote whether they agree or not agree with you, and if you had a good opinion that people liked, it would move up in a graphic and whatnot. It was a very, very, very cool app that, by the way, we file a patent for and whatnot. But it had to become public. So I talked to CNN, and CNN agreed to put it on the front page of their website, CNN.com. But my top programmer at the time, I had a team of programmers, said, oh, there's a bug. And if this app is launched on Monday, it's going to crash the computer systems for all CNN. So what we did is we broke into CNN, physically broke into CNN. It was like breaking into a bank, and we hacked the computer. We fixed the bug. We did it for good reasons. So you can hack a computer for good reasons, and we got away with it. And CNN never wanted to tell anybody that we did that because they didn't want people to know that somebody could break into CNN headquarters. I could tell you other stories.
That's amazing. So, how your constructive ideas helped for the development of your company at the same time, the development of the society and the country and the world?
Well, if you look at the world economy, 60% of the world economy is consumption. What is consumption? Consumption is like you or I going to a store and deciding what to buy. Okay, so for the economy to become sustainable, then all these decisions have to be made based on sustainability information. Okay, so my last startup, where I was a CEO until a few years ago, my last startup was called Earth Accounting, and that's where I still maintain the Twitter feed that you and I connected through. And the idea was that you could scan a barcode with your iPhone and get all the sustainability information about the product you were thinking to buy and compare it to other products and so on, and make the right decision based on sustainability information that we provided. Okay, so that was the idea, and I was a CEO. We filed a couple of patents and whatnot. Unfortunately, life is what happens while you're making other plans. And I had a serious health problem, which is a whole other story because it's not your average health problem. So I was 2 weeks away from getting $2 million from venture capital, and I didn't get it because I had a seizure. So Since then, I've been, after I recovered, I've been involved with other startups in the area of sustainability. And right now I'm involved with two startups. One is Advanced ESG. The idea is to put transparency in the ESG, which starts for, it's the framework that companies around the world are starting to use. It's gaining a lot of momentum. It's environmental, social, and governance reports that companies file for people to know that they're doing something good for the planet and for society and whatnot. But to make sure that what the information and they're providing in their ESG reports is truthful. And that's called Advanced ESG. And I'm the Vice President of Operations for Advanced ESG right now. The other startup I'm involved, where I'm in the board of advisors, but I'm the US manager, is Zeloop. Zeloop is actually based out of Dubai. And the idea is that with Zeloop, it's an app that is already available. You can download it, Zeloop, Z-E-L-E-L-O-O-P, Zeloop. The idea is that we will reward people for recycling actions with cryptocurrency, okay? With cryptocurrency. And so everybody's talking about a circular economy, but to have a circular economy, you need to have money, circular money, if you wish. So we are introducing cryptocurrency as the money for the circular economy.
So what is the common thing that you observed in every human being, human beings in different parts of the world as a technologist? When you're developing an application, or when you're watching at a hardware device or anything which is related to IT, how this is going to be helpful for the people who are into completely in different parts of the world?
Well, technology has been making a difference in history for a long, long time. But now we have reached a critical mass of people in the planet. Before, there was people here, people there. Now there's people that are all connected. Everybody is connected. The internet is all connected. By the way, I met the guy that sent the first message on the internet ever between UCLA and Stanford back in 1979. He sent the first message on the internet. The internet, as you know, do you know why the internet was developed? Do you know why the internet?
To make people to connect with each other.
Well, yes, but it was not the motivation. The motivation for the creation of the internet protocol, if you wish, was to after a nuclear war, to allow people to communicate with each other via radio, via shortwave radio. That's what the original purpose of the internet was. But yes, it was to make secure communications between people in case of a nuclear war. That was the original purpose of the internet. And it started right here in Los Angeles, in Santa Monica, to be precise, at the RAND Corporation labs, research and development labs here in Santa Monica. And they came up with the idea of the internet protocol using electrical communication, and that's how it got started. And since then, the internet has changed the world dramatically, because now everything is connected. Everything we do is connected all over the world. You and I can talk on Skype between India and the United States and have a conversation in real time via video. That's unusual. So definitely the internet has changed the world, and it has created a different kind of world. Because before that, it was like These guys are here, these guys are here. They send mail to each other, maybe the telegram, maybe the telephone and whatnot. But it was all split up. Now we're all one world, and we can act together as one world to achieve a sustainable economy, to stop climate change, to become a better society. And so my belief is that what motivates a lot of people in startups is the idea of making a change, changing the way things are done so that we have a better world. But then again, some people do it because they want to make a lot of money. So human beings are all kinds, and what motivates human beings is very different. But in general, people that start a computer company are people that want to make a positive change in society.
So in your experience, I'm sure you might have seen people who are working to create something which is not there before, and people who are working to get something in return. So what should be done in order to make the planet be positive?
Well, certainly what is needed is there, but really what needs to be done, what is lacking, in my opinion, is leadership. Okay, right now we have possible wars, we have a pandemic, we have people, 200 million climate refugees around the world and whatnot. So there's a lot of problems, but these problems can be resolved with the technology available right now, whether it's renewable energy, electric cars, the internet, and so on. But what is needed is human leadership, because this technology can be used for evil, ask the Russians, or it can be used for good. But the decision of what to use the technology for and which way to go and so on is made by human beings. And what we need is leadership to motivate those people that have this capability to start a whole new industry, a whole new technology and whatnot, to do it for the right reasons.
So now internet is everywhere, every place it is reached now. So what is what are those points that a leader who are going to be the leader of this complete connectivity, this internet, what he should be put in his mind? Because there are a lot of people like me who are like 27, 28 of age who are going to be the leaders of this virtual world. So what we need to put in our mind in order to make this to use positively, and there are a lot of countries where there is no education because of internet today. Everybody is getting education, free education. They are not able to put money before for the education, but internet is providing the free education today. So what we need to put the security things.
We need to do a lot of things. Certainly education is paramount. The more people that know things, the better. No question about that. So yeah, the internet can change education, and it is doing it right now, especially now with the pandemic in the United States. People were able to attend virtual lessons and classes and so on. But for your generation, because I'm very old, and I will not be around much longer, but you're going to be around for a long time. If you look at the world right now, if you look at the dashboard, there's a red light blinking. There's a red light blinking. And the red light blinking is climate change. We're in a climate crisis. And if in the next 10 years we do not stop burning fossil fuels, for the next 10 years, 15 years, we don't stop burning fossil fuel, it's the end of civilization as we know it. there will be no more civilization. It will be the end of civilization as we know it. Yeah, maybe there were some parts of the world that will survive, New Zealand, Tasmania, Patagonia in Argentina, maybe Norway in Europe and whatnot. But with 7.5 billion people in the planet, a climate catastrophe like we're headed to in the next 10 to 15 years will cause the end of civilization. So now what has to be done in the next 10 to 15 years by people like you who have knowledge and have the capabilities of starting something from scratch and coming up with some new is to focus on how what you do will influence the climate crisis that we're in and help stop it. That's my opinion.
So change. So I think you are the perfect definition for the change, and you are the. I mean, you have seen change, the technology change with your eyes. You heard with your ears. So how you took the change? You saw Steve Jobs. You saw a lot of technologists with your presence. With your senses. So how you took that, and how we should to take that, and how we should adapt to the change.
Well, the first thing we have to do is say there's hope. There's hope that things can improve, that things can change for the better. And if we have hope, and then we say, well, what can we do about this issue? What can we do to make people's life better? What can we do to improve society and whatnot? What can we do to stop climate change? Then hope is what gives you the motivation to try to do something, okay? And of course, getting an idea of how to change something is important, but then, put it in the framework of how will that impact society if you succeed.
So is there anything that you wanted to do something to the planet that you didn't do?
Well, like I say, I had this app that I was the CEO of the .com. We were 2 weeks away from getting $2 million, and unfortunately, I had a seizure. So that was my problem. But I like the idea of motivating younger people, which I'm doing as we speak, to do what they can using technology to improve society and to prevent the climate catastrophe.
And tell me about your thinking. How was your thinking from the day when you know the technology, and what is your thinking today? You are expert today.
My thinking has not really changed that much. I was a kid in Uruguay. And I was always. I went to school, and then I had to wait for my father to stop work, to end his work, and take me home and whatnot. But his office was next to the IBM headquarters in Uruguay, and I was always waiting there, and I could see the lights blinking in the computer that they had inside, and I was fascinated by the blinking lights. So one day the IBMer said, "Let's bring this guy in," and they brought me into, and they explained to me what the computer was, and that's when I became fascinated with computers. So we have to make sure that as many people as possible understand the capabilities of the technology that is possible and whatnot. And back in those days, reading science fiction made sense because science fiction was a way of looking into the future, a possible future. So that's not a bad idea to get involved in science fiction. There's science fiction movies and things like that. That gives you a little bit of an inspiration of things that could happen in the future. Then again, there's bad science fiction that says the whole world is going to end. But let's just say that giving young people like you the knowledge they need to be a part of the future is what makes sense.
So what a human being with mental, physical, material energies of his can do to this planet if he is in IT, information technology, what he can do, how much he can do.
Like I said, information is data about data, and information allows you to achieve knowledge and whatnot. So, get information, get data, and deliver it to users through an app, through a website, through the internet, so they can make better decisions that improve the planet. Because we are all together, but we're all making our own individual decisions, and the better information that we have, the better decisions we make.
Thank you, sir, for giving me answers for my questions. If my questions are too small, don't think bad.
No, no, let's stay in touch. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to you and to whoever listens to this program.
So can I put this video on my YouTube channel with your permission?
Sure, go ahead.
And also, can I put this video and audio clip on my podcast, website, internet, social
Yeah,
media, everywhere with your permission?
yes, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Keep going, keep doing what you love, and keep inspiring people like us. Make change, create change.
Well, let's stay in touch, and maybe one day we can do something else, okay?
Thank you, sir.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.